Welcome to the Dice Tower, a series of video reviews about board and card games. Here are your hosts, Tom Vassell and Sam Healy.
Hey everybody, I'm Tom Vassell.
I'm Z Garcia. Hello.
And I'm Sam Healy. What's up?
Today we're taking a look at Majesty, a game that inspires you by its cover.
It does indeed. Inspires me to run.
Well,
Inspires you to...
okay, so anyway, this is a game designed by Marc André, who's best known for Splendor.
Heard of it.
You guys you're not a fan of Splendor.
Nope.
You think it's okay.
Boredom in a box.
It's okay.
So how did I manage to get you guys to play it? I didn't tell you it was designed by the same guy.
Well, I
Splendor.
knew when I looked at the cover.
I didn't. Because I don't pay attention to that kind
Trickery.
of stupid stuff.
Here's how the game plays. Each player is going to be putting some cards in front of them. Before I go any farther, I should point out that we have a very early copy of the game, a German copy, so the words are going to be changed if you buy the full English version. But you're going to have these cards. Each card has two sides, the 1B and 1A. The A is just so you know what order to, the numbers so you know what order to put them in. And you can use A or the B sides. So you start out with A, and you also notice they make kind of a panorama picture when you put them all together. You're going to have a small deck of cards in the middle with twos and a certain number of ones on top based on the number of players in the game. And these cards are going to be flipped over like this to form a path. Each player is also going to have a spot here with 5 of these workers on it. And so on my turn, it turns really simple. I'm going to take one of these cards. Now, I can always take this card for free. If I want, for example, the queen here, I would need to place a worker on both of these, take the queen, and put the queen where she's supposed to go. These cards would then slide over, and this will be here. Now, if I ever take a card with workers on, those workers will come in front of me, and if I have more than 5 at the end of my turn, I just discard those workers to get extra points, 1 point per worker. Now, whenever you place a card, you're going to score points. It's going to be different for each of the spots. So let's take a look at these spots. For example, here, if I go to the mill, I'll get 2 points. So that gives me 2 points. But the next time I place one, I get 4 points. You get 2 points for every miller that you have. The next spot, you get 2 points and a worker for every brewer that you place here. And everybody, as long as they have at least 1 miller, will get 2 points. The witch heals people, which I'll talk a little bit more in a minute, and she gives you 2 points for all your millers, brewers, and witches. So she can give you a lot of points. Then moving over here, we have the attackers and defenders. I'm going to start here. When you play these guys, you attack every other player. You get 3 points for each soldier that you have. When you attack other players, you're going to compare the number of attackers you have to everyone else's number of defenders. If your attackers are greater than the number of defenders, they have to injure one of their people. And so what they're going to do is they'll take the person to the leftmost over here and place them like this. That person's going to score them no points and possibly even at the end of the game be worth fewer points. So at the end of the game you'll lose 1 point for every person you have here. And you know, if I put another miller here, now there's only 1 instead of there being 2. So it can kind of mess other people up. But if they have enough defenders, it won't matter. Defenders are going to give you points for each defender, each attacker, and each of the people running a tavern. So they can give you points that way. And like I said, they block. The witch, when you play a witch, you're able to heal one of your wounded people. So the witch would take the top person and bring them back to where they were. Although you wouldn't score for them, they just come back. Anyway, this person here gives 4 points for each of these guys, plus anyone who has at least 1 tavern gets 3 points. The nobles give you 5 points and a worker for each of them. So you can see that they're better and better, however, there's fewer of them. And also, sometimes maybe it's something you want, but you're going to have to pay workers to get it out. As I said, there's another side for each of these, which changes things slightly. Like, for example, the brewer here gives you points for, you get a worker for every brewer and miller you have, and if you have for every combo you have of yellow purple, you're going to get 10 points. So things will change differently, but that's essentially how the game works. As you take points, you're going to be taking these chips here that come with the game. And at the end of the game, when everyone has played 12 people, you'll do final scoring for people, losing points here. And then whoever has the most in each area is going to get 12 points. This one gives 12 points. Each one's going to give a certain number of points based on how many are there. So this one gives 14, this one gives 10, it depends on which side. Whoever has the most in each area gets points for that one. And then you get points at a number of different areas where you have at least one person. You'll get square that. So if this was me, and I don't have any witches, for example, so I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 times 6 is 36, so we get the square of that. I take these points from having the most at each area, and that's square for diversification, and whoever has the most points wins the game. I should also mention that there are some cards that have 2 different characters on them, and when you draft them, you can flip them and put them on either side.
That part of the final thoughts where we cover for something that we missed during the playthrough.
That's not, you don't know that.
That's not what just happened, no.
Yeah.
No.
Anyhow, the game itself, I think we were joking at the beginning about the bugs not being.
Yeah, and that's still a valid point, right? I do think that the game has a fairly middle of the road theme. It's a tired theme. From that point of view, right? From an artwork and thematic standpoint, there's nothing new to see here. Move along.
But I would argue that the game itself looks really good. When those cards are laid out, they make that little panorama. Mm-hmm. I think they're bright, they're colorful, they look good.
Yeah.
And then you add the little chips in.
Yeah, the chips are very nice, certainly high quality, right? And this is, that whole sort of recall to Splendor and how well that game has done. It seems largely based on those chips.
Yes.
This certainly looks better than Splendor, I would say. But they both have that sort of, I don't want to say generic, that sounds bad, but generic look.
My only complaint about the chips in this game was there's no 5 value chip.
It's true.
Right,
That did seem weird. A few times we ran into that issue, yeah.
Well, like one of the characters gives you 5 points.
Right.
And then it goes from 2s to 10s, which is just odd. It's not a huge thing, but many times I'd be like, I'll change these. Never mind. I'll wait till I get 10.
Yes.
True.
The game itself is not a long game. You are literally playing 12 cards.
Yes.
That's it. What do you guys think about that? The length of the game compared to what's in the game?
Well, the length of the game is probably one of its high points for me. The fact that it's not that it's
over.
It's not that it's overdone. Okay, I'm never doing this again. No, but it does play very quickly. I mean, your turn comes and goes, and the next person's turn comes and goes very quickly, and you do have to stay on top of your toes. But at the same time, it does play quickly, and that's one of the things that I like about it. It's not this long, drawn-out, cerebral game.
Yeah, I thought it struck a balance nicely between being short enough, quick enough, but not being so short and quick that you felt robbed of decisions in the game. So 12 seemed right, If you say that out loud, you're going to take 12 cards, that's the whole game. It sounds like, really,
One of those little
I'm not going
tiny...
to do anything in this game. I'm grabbing 12 cards, that's 12 turns.
Well, there was a point in the game where I was thinking, I don't have a whole lot of time here.
Right.
There is a point where it was like that, where I realized that what I was wanting to do, I probably would not be able to do it to its completion, but I would be able to do pretty well at it.
I thought the length was spot on. It's a well balanced, well truncated. It's a well placed game.
It's a well truncated game.
It doesn't outstay its welcome,
Right.
Well, oddly enough, it almost feels in some ways like Small World, the short game. Now, I know it's not, okay? I'm not saying it compares to Small World.
It's exactly like that.
But it has 2 things that really remind me of Small World. One is obviously the card mechanism, which I really like. Put guys in the cards you don't like and take it. And the other is you're getting a certain amount of points every turn. And we're watching, you're like, I only got 6 points this turn. He got 13, he's in the lead. It has that same kind of thing, except then at the end there's another whole pile of scoring.
Right.
What do you think about the end game scoring? The majorities and then that spreading out.
Well, I did not put enough stock into that part of the game, that's for sure. I did not spread myself out evenly at all. Now, I did get a few of the bonuses for having the most of certain kinds, and I think that's where I did the best in final scoring, but it still wasn't enough.
Yeah, it's fine. It feels balanced. It's been done. It works. It's proven.
Yeah, I've seen some
you
people
either
win.
do a lot of one thing or you do a little bit in a lot of things. Both give you points. Both have their rewards. If you get a lot of the same thing in game, your rewards for that column are also compounded. So it's fine. It works very well. There's nothing new there either, though. I'm not going to say, it's fantastic. It's amazing what they came up with. It works. It's proven.
I think it probably rewards spreading out more than getting a many of one kind.
I've seen people win with both.
Really?
Yeah, I have.
Oh, okay.
I don't think you can win by getting like 2 kinds.
Yeah.
4 points to 49 is a big swing.
Yeah.
Sure.
But I think you can do like a 4 or 5.
Okay.
As long as you get a bunch of majorities. And the majorities, I didn't realize this until after playing several games, was they were different on each side too. The points you get. Now, one of the things that's going to really differentiate this from Splendor and its games like that, this game has in-your-face mechanisms where you're attacking the other players.
Yes.
So what do you think about that? I mean, that's for a 12-card game. Is that too harsh?
No. I think it adds enough.
Sorry.
It's not harsh enough.
No, what I mean by is I think one of the things that I guess I was lacking when I played Splendor and all that kind of stuff is a lack of player interaction. So with this having player interaction, I don't think there's too much of it. You do have to work pretty hard at making sure that you can attack. That's one of the things that I was noticing right off the bat, is that it's not easy to attack somebody. You have to make sure that you're taking more knights than they have shields, and it's not that easy.
At which point you're focusing on a single column, at which point you're giving up other things.
Right. So, I mean, it's not like it's this extra thing that's going to give you a boatload of points. It's just something that kind of helps you keep everybody in check if you're leaning towards that way. If you already have those cards, this is something else you can do. So I don't think it's too heavy-handed. I think it's another thing that gives a little bit more differentiation from his previous hit.
And it's another path, and I do like that when you do hit someone, that card is not gone. That card is turned off.
Yeah.
You can flip that card back by gaining another card.
Right.
Which is not just regaining a card. You did take another card that go.
Right.
And turned one back on.
Right.
So you can come back from that, and it just feels to me like another path to point grab.
Getting more points. Yeah.
That's fine.
And like you mentioned, it's easily mitigated.
Sure.
Not only can you build up your defense if you don't want to be attacked.
Right.
You can have the witches bring the people back.
Right.
And they hit your weakest person.
Right.
It's not killing your princesses or whatever the people are at the very end for the most points. Unless that's all you're doing, and in which case...
Well, then you're setting yourself up to be attacked.
Yeah, I haven't played this with anyone who got upset about that sort of thing. You might get hit a couple times over the course of the game, because there's not enough attack cards for everyone to be attacking you all the time anyway.
It feels balanced. I mean, the different kinds of characters feel balanced. They're interesting. The way you gain them is clever and interesting. My only concern when it comes to all of the characters is I found several of them basically the same thing. Like this one scores off of these two, and this one scores off of itself and everyone behind, which is these two. So there's a little bit of repetition there, and I wish it was a little splashier, you know what I mean? Like Marc André co-designed with Bruno Fedudi might make for an interesting game.
Did he just say that?
He did.
You know what I mean? I said
What?
co-designed.
Co-designed.
Like just bring Fedudi out every now and then and be like, give me some crazy power. And then he's like, yes, this one should explode the world. Go away, Fedudi.
Oh my goodness.
Because right now, I could see this after 10 plays getting a little samey because, you're just sort of, it's like pinball. You're just hitting this one and this one and this one and they all scored, and then you hit this one and that scores. And
that's kind of like what
Pinball's amazing,
Splendor
sorry.
is, though. I mean,
It is, I mean, and that's why, and again, I want
that
to...
might be like his little niche, you know?
Yeah. He streamlines the game. I don't know if he actually does design a big game and then streamlines a lot out, but it does feel like he polishes to the point of there's almost nothing left, and that's what you get. Which is fine. It's balanced. It works.
Right.
But there are no splashy moments.
Might be too short to have a whole lot of splashy moments, though.
Yeah. Maybe.
I mean, it's just not the kind of game that
And I'm sure if the game does well, there will be expansions that do other stuff.
No.
Never.
All right, what do you think? Final thought.
All right, well, I definitely like it better than his previous venture. No matter how popular Splendor was, I like this a lot better than Splendor because of, if not only for the interaction that is there, I like the way it looks a lot better than Splendor as well. And I don't mean to continuously be comparing the two, but quite frankly, that's what we're pretty much doing.
It's going to happen. They're the same designer, the same box.
So I'm gonna give it 1 thumb up. It's not a game that I will always want to gravitate towards, but if it's hitting the table, I won't mind playing it, which is more than I can say for Splendor as well. I will just knock out a Splendor if that would hit the table. But if Majesty hits the table, I'll be cool with it and have a good time.
Yeah, I feel the same way. I've played 3 of this designer's previous games. So Splendor, and I've played Sail Away, and I played Barony. And I like this better than all 3 of those games. So right now, unless he's got something else I don't know about and haven't played, this is my favorite game from this designer because of everything we said. And I think it feels complete and finished. And except for a lack of, again, an injection of some splashy or thematic turn, which doesn't have to be there. The game doesn't have to be for me. It works and it's complete. So I'm also going to give it 1 thumb up, leaning towards 1.5, but I'm going to stick with 1 thumb up. I think I like it more than Sam.
Yeah.
It's a good game. I think you're going to enjoy it. If you're captivated by this at all, if you look at it and you go, and you walk towards it, you're going to like it.
I think this is going to be one of the biggest hits of the year, honestly. I really like it. I'm giving it 2 crowns up. I think that this will be on at least the nominated list for the Spiel des Jahres.
Mm-hmm. Are you thinking Kenner Spiel or regular Spiel?
No, I think Spiel. It's simple enough. And I just like the simplicity. I've played it with every player count. I've taught it to many people. It's just one of those games that I'm like, this is a gateway game. It's so easy to teach and play. You play a card, you get some points. You know, that people understand that whole thing. The B side is slightly more complicated on the cards, but not that much. And so it's a lot of fun. And I think people will be attracted, superfluous or not, by the little chips.
Yes,
they're going to like those.
They're very well made. I just think I personally think I'll wait for the Gollum edition.
Anyhow, that's our review of Majesty. We'll see where this one ends up, but I think it's going to be very popular. Until next time, I'm Tom Vassell.
I'm Zeke Garcia. Thank you.
Sam Healy. See you on the flip side.
Thanks for watching our review today. For more information about board games, as well as the #1 board game audio podcast, check out Dicetower.com for reviews, interviews, and more. I'm Eric Summerer, and you've been watching The Dice Tower.